this well-formed outcome is a very good place to start. That could be a well-formed outcome for someone, to just simply say, I'm going to learn and I'm going to adopt a new mindset in 2018. You know, I'm not going to keep thinking the same discouraging thoughts. I'm not going to keep, going round and round the circle and round the circle. I'm going to break out of the circle. I'm not only going to start thinking outside of the box, I'm going to redesign the box. All right? And you will find life having a lot more opportunity than you ever imagined that it did. You're not limited by your circumstances. You're not limited by anything in the external world. You're only limited by what's going on in your internal world. You can take the worst possible thing that happened to you in 2018 or 2017, all right? Put a different frame around it. In other words, you're going to look at it differently. You're going to learn from that, and it's going to serve as the launching pad into the beginning of a whole new life for you in 2018. This is why I'm offering this to you. All right? Because you can do it. You can do it. The very worst thing that happened to you in 2017 can serve as the launching pad for the life that you never dreamed possible that you can have. It's all about what you're setting for your outcomes. All right? Now, well-formed outcomes can also be sequenced and broken down into bite-sized nuggets versus a goal. You said, well, I'm going to set this goal, and that goal is so large that you don't have the motivation to even start it. All right. I experienced this in 2017. I had a goal that I wanted to start writing a book. I'd been saying for years, I'm going to write a book. Other people had told me, you need to write a book. And I kept telling myself, I'm going to write a book. And that's my goal. And I thought about, how much time it would take. I thought about how much research would be necessary. I started thinking about all of these things that it would take to write this book. And for years, I never wrote the book. All right. Then I said, no, I have an outcome for the rest of 2017. All right. And this was real recent. This was like in December. I said, my outcome, I'm going to write and release my first book in 2017. And I knew why I wanted that outcome, because in order to do some of the other things that I want to do and am going to do in 2018, I needed to have some books available. All right. I needed to add author to my resume, so to speak. And so I'm going to do that. All right. But by having it as an outcome and knowing why I wanted it, and it was self-initiated and self-maintained. It was something within my own control. I wasn't doing it for anybody else. It's something I was doing for myself. All right. I set that outcome. Now, because I had the outcome, I could now break it down into bite-sized chunks. All right. So I'm not just looking at, I'm going to write this book. All right. I could break it down and start making choices and decisions that would enable me to get it completed. All right. And so I said, okay, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to write out, the chapters. I know what I want to write about. I know what the chapters need to be. Then I'm going to start doing page by page. Right. Because in order to write a chapter, I've got to do page one. And so I sat down and I did that. Blocked out some more time, got the first chapter done, second chapter done, third chapter done, fourth chapter done, fifth chapter done. Sent it off to a couple of people to do some review of the book. Got some feedback, did my grammar corrections, because you may need other people to help you to get your outcome done. All right. So I can write, but I have some issues with some grammar. All right. And so I knew people who were good at grammar and spelling. All right. Punctuations, all of that good stuff. So I sent it off to them. They made corrections. All right. I went back, made the corrections, and before I knew it, my book was completed in a week. Now, that's the difference of having that outcome, knowing why I wanted to have the outcome. Now, I've already written the first book. Now I have a process that I can use repeatedly to write further books. All right? Because I had that as an outcome and I knew why I wanted it. It was self-motivated, all right? And all of the other things. Okay? So that outcome helps you to break it down into bite-sized nuggets, because you can look at a goal and it is so large you don't even know where to begin. You set that outcome, it starts aligning your choices, it starts aligning your thinking process, all right? Because it's deeper than just on the conscious level. You're tapping into your subconscious, which has access to a whole lot more information than your conscious mind does. All right, and we're going to talk about some of that, some of the future broadcasts. So you start taking these small actions every day. All right, just every day. Let's go back to the losing weight. All right. Instead of just thinking, I'm going to lose 50 pounds and, I'm going to have to do this, I'm going to have to do this. Just start slowing down on some of the meals that you eat on a day-to-day basis. All right. Don't think about having to work out 2 hours a day. Start with 5 minutes. Start with 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You have this outcome. You're going to get healthier. All right. And that outcome sets everything, and you will find yourself being able to progress and achieve that outcome a whole lot easier than if you just set it as a goal. These are well-formed outcomes. Now, what resources will you need in order to achieve your outcome? All right, this goes back to the writing of the book. All right, so I needed to have some people that were good at editing. I needed to have some software. I needed to have a number of different things in order to achieve that outcome. So this is where a lot of times your networking will come in. Who do you know that has some of the skill sets that you may be lacking in? All right. So this is where you get to the point where I don't want to ask people for help, or I don't want people to know that I can't do X, Y, and Z. If you know someone who is good at something, this will help somebody. If you know someone who is good at something, rather than allowing pride, okay, to say, I don't want this person to know that I'm not good at this, right? Use it as an opportunity to sharpen your own skill sets. Learn from people who are good at things that you're not good at. Work with them. So it becomes an issue of networking, all right? You have to expand the circle of your network in order to achieve things that are beyond the sphere of your current network. All right. So, if you want, with whatever it is, find some people who are good at those things that you want to learn and begin to surround yourself with those types of people. Remember, you've got an outcome that you're trying to achieve. All right. You have an outcome. So whatever resources you have to draw on them. It may mean that, part of, the outcome that you want, you may have to take some training. You may have to get some schooling. You may have to make some sacrifices in your time. You may have to find another place of employment. There's a number of things that you may have to do. But remember, if you know why you want those things, some of the sacrifices and changes and choices that you're going to have to make become minimized because you know the reason why you're doing it. It may appear to people that you're taking a step back. It may appear to people it's a foolish decision. But then again, your outcome cannot be based on anything other than this is what you desire. If you continue to try to live based on what other people think you should do, You're going to live based upon the level of their faith, their vision. All right? So you're going to have to come to grips with that. You can't make your life decisions based on what other people want. You just can't do it. Well, you can do it, but you won't really live the fullness of life that you deserve. So what resources, do you need? This is where people say, well, I can't get X because I don't have Y. Well, go out and get Y, and then you can get X. I can't do this because, I can't get a different job because of daycare. I can't do this because of that. I can't do this because of that. Those are just, they may be good reasons, but don't allow the good reasons to become your excuse. All right. There's always a way for you to do what it is you're trying to do, but you have to set your outcomes. You'll be amazed at how things begin to reorder. External circumstances begin to reorder themselves when you have clear objectives in life, when you have clear outcomes that you're reaching out for. Life just has a way of organizing itself around you. Now that might be new because most of us believe that we have to order our lives around life. Well, the reverse is true. Life will order itself around you when you have clear cut outcomes that you're reaching for. It's the same thing with the power of vision. When you have a vision, you'll be amazed at how that vision tends to draw in the resources that you need in order to achieve the vision. But you have to be a person who knows what you want and why. You have to be self-motivated and self-initiated. And these well-formed outcomes will help you do that. Now, in what context do you want the outcome? In other words, when, where, and with who do you want this outcome? Because it may involve other people. Because well-formed outcomes are situation specific. This is where you don't live life generalized. You live life very specifically. All right. This is where life begins to take on meaning. It's not just getting up, going to work, coming home, getting on Facebook for a while, or whatever it is. Life becomes very specific. There are very specific things that you're doing on a day-to-day basis. Life has meaning. Life has purpose. There's outcomes that you're working on. They are situation specific. Who is involved in this outcome? What is involved in this outcome? Where does this outcome need to actually take place and manifest? So it may be useful for you to relax, focus, get up early, and begin to look at some of the circumstances that you may encounter in that day. You're becoming very focused. This is what I'm saying. You have to focus on where you're trying to get. You have to focus on where you're trying to get. I say a lot of times, if you don't have a purpose in life, life will give you a purpose. You be the determining factor, you be the determining factor. So again, what is the evidence that you're going to have that you've achieved that outcome? So you want to have some things that are measurable. A lot of times we talk about SMART goals, and that comes into it. But what is the evidence, let's say, that you've had a productive day? How will you know that you've had a productive day? What can you look at? What can you sense? What can you see at the end of a day that lets you know that that day has been productive? You have to have something to be able to measure. You have to have something to be able to measure where you are in terms of achieving this outcome. If it's just, in a really vague arena, well, I'll know that my day was effective, because I won't be tired. Well, that's kind of vague, but, what is it that you've been doing or not doing that caused you not to be tired? Are you managing your time better? Are you eating better? Or are you taking more time out during the day for some relaxation, meditation techniques, some prayer? What is it that's at the end of the day when you look back and say, I'm not as tired. I've had a good day. How do you know you've had a good day? Are you one day closer to achieving your outcome? Are you one day closer to losing weight? Is this one more day, that you've gotten the victory over an addiction? Whatever the case may be, what do you have to measure where you are in terms of that outcome? Now, here's another thing. Well-formed outcomes, they're compelling. They're more compelling than just setting a goal. All right. So, what is it that drives you? Are the outcomes, the things that you want to achieve in life, are they motivating to the degree where they really fire you up? When you start talking about it, you light up. People can literally see the change in your physiology when you begin to talk about these outcomes. Or is it just, well, okay, Sarah, if I can do this or if I can do that, when you think about and you talk about those outcomes that you want, does it affect your physiology? Is it compelling? Is it something that drives you? Right? There's nothing wrong with being a person who's driven. All right? You should be driven towards something. All right? Let's just make sure that what you're driven towards is a part of something that you're trying to achieve in life. You should be driven. A lot of times, this is just me, but a lot of times, some people may think that I spend way too much time on computers. But here's the thing: when I'm on the computer, I'm doing a couple of different things. I'm either editing some video, I'm putting some podcasts together, I'm looking at some marketing, I'm doing some networking. Sometimes I would say let my hair down, but as you can see, I don't have a lot of hair. I'm reaching out, I'm connecting and talking with friends on Facebook, but I'm doing something that has to do with my outcome. I'm just not on computers playing games and some of those things. I'm literally working towards my outcome, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I'm honing my skills in some of the audio video production work that I do. These are things that I do. I'm talking to clients, that I have with some of my web hosting and radio hosting things, but these are all part of the outcomes that I want to achieve. So what are you driven towards? All right. What drives you in life? Don't be a person that only lives to pay bills. All right. That's not a good place to be. You do need to pay bills. All right. But don't just be a person, you live to work, right? Don't live to work to live. That's the difference. It's a different mindset. It's a different mentality. Now, the last thing is that well-formed outcomes should be ecological. Now, what do I mean? They should be ecological. All right. How do these outcomes affect other people that are in your life? How will these outcomes affect, right, your family, your job, your neighbors? How do these outcomes affect other people? Now, that might seem like a contradiction because I said earlier that your well-formed outcome should be self-initiated and self-motivated, and that you shouldn't be doing it because someone else thinks you should do it. But now I'm saying, how does what you do affect other people? Two totally different things, all right? Your well-formed outcome should have a positive impact on your sphere of influence. Your well-formed outcome should be beneficial to your family. It should be beneficial to your friends. It should be beneficial to your community. It should be beneficial to your place of employment. These well-formed outcomes. Now, granted, Everyone's not going to agree with what you're doing. Everybody is not going to understand what you're doing right now. But once that outcome is achieved, that well-formed outcome will prove beneficial to those who may not have understood. And then think about what that does for them. Think about how a person who doesn't really believe they have much to contribute, all right? If they don't believe they have much to contribute to the world, chances are they're not going to believe you have much to contribute either, all right? But imagine what can happen when they see the contribution that you're making, all right? And you've been interacting with them. They've been watching you because, trust me, people are watching you. People are watching you. For the good, for the worse, people are watching you, all right? But imagine what happens when people who know you or thought and think they know you, when they see some of the things that you're achieving, some of the outcomes that you're getting in life, and they may even know a part of your story, which in 2017 may not have been real pleasant. But then they see in 2018 what you have achieved and what you've done, all right? Now you have the opportunity to share with them, to speak to them, how they too can make some of these changes and adjustments in their life and begin to get some of the outcomes that they desire. These are some of the things that I'm talking about when I talk about having ecologically well-formed outcomes, or well-formed outcomes being ecological, all right, is how it impacts your sphere of your influence, all right? Those are well-formed outcomes. And now, mind you, it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in a week. It's not going to happen in a month. But remember, because they're in bite-sized nuggets, every day you can make some progress in achieving that well-formed outcome. So despite the fact that you may have already broken your New Year's resolution, set an outcome for 2018 that you day by day are going to be working towards. And you will see at the end of 2018 that you have achieved a phenomenal amount. All right? Your destiny is in your hands. All right? Your achievement is in your hands. Your opportunities will either help or hinder you, or let me put it another way. Your challenges will either help or hinder you based upon what's going on in your inner world. What you achieve in life will be highly dependent upon what you do, how you think, the choices that you make. Life is all about choices. Make the choice in 2018 to set some well-formed outcomes. Well, it's been a pleasure for me to share this with you. So let me very quickly just go down the list and say again what these well-formed outcomes, what the process of well-formed outcomes entails. Number one, they should be stated in positive terms. Number two, they should be self-initiated and maintained. Number three, you want to know, why do you want that outcome? They're going to be sensory based. What are you going to feel, see, and hear when you achieve it? You're going to do some time travel internally. Well-formed outcomes, they're sequenced. They're bite-sized. You're going to break it down into small chunks that you can do minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day. What resources do you need? Who do you need to help you achieve those outcomes? What is going to be the evidence for fulfillment? What measurements are you going to use to determine how you're doing in achieving those well-formed outcomes? How compelling are those well-formed outcomes? What does it do to your physiology? Does it light you up? That's a good way to put it. Does it light you up? Does it fire you up? Because if it fires you up, it's going to fire other people up as well. Well-formed outcomes are ecological. What is going to be the benefit to those around you when you have achieved that well-formed outcome? These are some things that you have the control over. And again, I want to thank you for tuning in to Conceptual Change Techniques. Next week on the broadcast, I'll be sharing some additional information with you. I want you to know in 2018 that the sky really is the limit. The sky is the limit. Don't allow fear to hold you down. Don't allow what you believe to be failures in 2017. Don't allow those things to hinder your achievements in 2018. Use those things and allow them to be the springboard to the best year that you've ever had. You know, if you'd like to contact us at Conceptual Change, of course, our contact information is here on the screen. We're looking forward to hearing from you. Keep your ear out as you tune into this broadcast. I'm going to be doing some meetings very soon in the Dayton, Ohio area, and these are going to be some meetings that you will be glad that you attended. If you are a person and you feel as though you want to have some personal coaching in some of these things, I'm more than willing to speak with you. Again, our contact information is on the screen. If you're not in the Dayton area or you feel as though your time is minimized, we can arrange some things to do it either by internet. We can do it by phone. I'm here for you because one of my outcomes for 2018 is to enable as many people as I can to begin to live their dream. That's one of my outcomes. That's why I come every week on the broadcast to share some information of how you can achieve the dreams that you desire, how you can live the life that you truly deserve. Well, once again, my name is D.A. Williams. You've been watching Conceptual Change. I'll look for you next week. Set that as one of your short-term outcomes. To contact us, to tune into the broadcast next week. And until then, work on those dreams. Set those well-formed outcomes. Have a great week. Bye-bye.